Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Sold and Closed. This week I had the chance to speak to Karen Burman, an associate broker with Douglas Elliman, who's also a client of ours and a very good friend. She shared some great stories with us, and it was actually her birthday, which she didn't tell me until the end of the episode. Anyway, enjoy, stay safe. Karen Burman from Douglas Elliman, welcome to the Sold and Closed podcast.
Thank you for having me, Rob. Good to see you.
It's great to see you. This time of year, April, spring market, typically I would be seeing you several times a week, shooting new listings, mostly on the Upper West Side, a lot at 201 West 70th Street. How are you handling this current conditions right now?
You know, it's really interesting. I think, first of all, the phrase social distancing is inaccurate. I think it's really social synchronizing. Actually, I think it's socializing, because before this, I never used Zoom, which we're using now.
Right.
I mean, that to me was an alien concept, and it's allowed me to connect better with people. I mean, I've got friends of mine who, live in Halifax, Canada, or live in California, haven't been able to see them. I've gotten tours of their house. I see what they do in their life. And so, one, I feel like I'm getting closer with friends. And, because we're home all the time, I've started using my Facebook more and have reached out to all the people that I know on Facebook and have gone from 350 friends to 1,800 friends. I mean, I was always friends, but now, and you get to know another part of their life that you never knew before. You get to see their family and their kids and what their interests are. And so I think we're getting to know people actually on a deeper level. So that's not distancing. That is synchronizing, that is getting closer. And so I feel like we're getting to know people on a different level. And so I mean, in that time for the socializing, I've just been going through all my social connecting points and just making them better and clearer and more accurate of where I'm in my life. And because I'm home and basically dating myself every day, I have to come up with a plan of like what I'm going to do. And I really like myself. And I found, I've always wanted to do yoga. And so I found this great meditation yoga, which takes place in Hawaii. And I get to watch the sunset and I hear the ocean.
Nice.
I've been meditating every morning. I used to have, according to City Search, the #1 catering company in Manhattan. And, I would have cooked when friends were coming over, but now I'm cooking every day for myself and I'm loving it.
Yeah,
and
I've noticed a lot of your social posts showing off some of your recipes. Which one of those recipes has been ended up getting the most response?
You know what? They all do. I mean, people
They all look
writing
great.
into me that asking me for the recipes, asking me to start blogging. And I was like, it's a sweet thought, but I love sharing it with, because for me, it's so simple for me to cook. And I think it's because I approach it in the same way that I approach real estate, in that if I go into somebody's apartment, I look and see, how can I bring this to the highest plateau in the simplest way, in the least expensive way? Like, do we need a stager? Do we need a declutterer? And so for me, if I have a piece of fish, I'm like, how can I elevate this to the highest level in the least amount of steps? Martha Stewart is amazing, but she's got like 30 steps, before you're like done. And it's like, I don't want to be working that hard. I just want to enjoy like a great piece of fish. So I might find that, you can use Madras curry and sprinkle it on your fish. And that just has so much flavor and power and elevates it to the next level. And if you have something spicy, and you want something cool next to it. So maybe do a yogurt sauce with it. And, you want some potatoes with it, like what's going to go well, like maybe a rosemary potato. But none of this takes me a lot of time. It's just, I have this innate ability to look at something and see how to bring it to that next level in simple steps. And so, because I've been enjoying it so much, and my nature is to share, that I get happy by sharing things with people, I've started posting the recipes online, and people have thanked me for it. They're like, "Thank you for doing this." And I was like, "I'm just so excited to share it." So, it's sort of amazing to see how appreciative people are for something that just makes me feel so good to give it. I'm not thinking that I'm doing anything. It's actually my pleasure to do it. I want them to enjoy the food as much as I do and realize it's not hard to do. And you can take frozen cauliflower and spinach and, carrot zoodles or whatever and have this amazing dish in like 10 minutes.
So social distancing has caused you to be more social.
Exactly. Yep.
And you're getting your cooking on, you're getting your yoga on, you're getting your Facebook social media on.
Yeah, I'm liking the new me. I don't, I know we have to go back to work, but I've discovered all of these amazing things. I feel like we're getting back to ourselves. I think we're all, like I said, I think that we're social connecting. We're connecting to ourselves. We're connecting through social media. I think we're figuring out what's important to us.
I agree with you. I agree. I think a lot of people are. I am. I'm also, getting a lot of much needed downtime, home time with my kids, time to focus on myself. Unfortunately,
sorry.
No, I was gonna say, unfortunately, I haven't spent as much time on myself as I would like to. I'm definitely dividing the time between parenting and planning. Business wise, planning. Our business, as I'm sure you know, it's even more important today than it was 6 weeks ago. So we have a lot ahead of us. Hopefully, good things ahead of us. But in terms of real estate, how are you handling the real estate aspect of your life, the professional career aspect of your life? Did you have anything in contract, or how many listings did you have when the curtain came down? Are they still on the market? Did you take any off the market? Have any closed? What's been the activity since March 15th for you?
Great question. So right before this happened, I had like that incredible success story. I had buyers that I had worked with 2 years ago, and they weren't seeing anything on the market that was the right fit for them. And so I looked at all things that didn't sell in 2017, 2018, when the market started going down a bit. And I thought, let me see if I can find them their dream apartment. And not only did I find them their dream apartment, I found my dream apartment. I was like, oh my God, I would kill to live in this space.
Right.
And, the seller agreed, the buyers agreed. And then, all of this unfolded, and the buyer was just like, we're on uncertain times and I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, and we can't do this right now. And I understood it. Like, I almost want to cry right now, because the thing is, I get it. And my intention is always for my client what's best for them. And I never want them to make a decision where like they're not 100% sure that this is the right thing for them to do. So disappointing, yes, but I understood it. So that was tough. And then I had a couple of other deals, which, we heard that essential workers weren't going to be able to be working anymore. And, they were both in contract. One had board approval, one needed board approval. And I thought, I have to get everything out of their apartment. And so, literally was just jumping hoops to position my sellers in the right position so they could close with no obstacles. And so right now, that's where I am with my deals. We're positioned and we're ready to close, but nobody can move in. So I've got them moved out,
Right.
but people are waiting to close, and I've actually have gotten recommendations from these sellers because they're like, wow, Karen, you're a problem solver. Like, never mind real estate. If I have an issue, you think outside of the box and figure how to make something happen. And so, that to me is one of the reasons I love real estate. I love when I get a problem and people are like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And thinking, turning over every single stone and thinking, how do we make this work? So I know all these deals are going to close. It's just, it's not now. Now's the time that I am, setting myself up for the future. I'm planting seed so that when the gates do open, which they will, I will be ready for it.
I know you will be. I know you will
I mean,
be.
if you told me that we were, we can start showing apartments tomorrow, I'm ready. So,
Right.
And in the meantime, I'm taking advantage of this downtime and enjoying it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Let's go back in time a little bit.
Okay.
And why don't you tell us how you got into the real estate business?
Okay, I'm gonna shorten this because we all know I can talk, and
Me
it
and
would be
you
a whole
both.
nother podcast. So let's see. The short version was I had a catering company in the East Village, and the building my catering company was in was sold twice. And I had renegotiated with the first landlord, then I had renegotiated with the second owner. And 2 weeks before I was supposed to renew the lease, the owner said, I want all retail out. This was Extell Development. I think a lot of people know him, one of the top developers.
That's a big
Little.
client. It's a big client of ours.
So, a caterer doesn't really have that much weight in it. And so I thought, well, I'm either going to merge with my top competitor or I'm going to find my dream job. And I saw an ad in the paper for a director of catering sales at the Sports Museum of America. And I thought, oh my God, no overhead, great salary, benefits. And I thought, this is my dream job. And I applied for it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hear anything.
Mm-hmm.
I was really disappointed. And a week later, I was speaking to a good friend of mine, Elizabeth Gillette, who has her scarves in Bergdorf Goodman and Abercrombie Fitch. And I mean, wildly successful scarf maker. And I was telling her how disappointed I was that I didn't hear from them, that this was my dream job. I'm perfect for it.
Right.
And she said, well, why don't you write to them exactly what you're telling me?
Mm-hmm.
And so I did, and I heard from them the next day, and I got a job at the Sports Museum of America, and I thought it was my dream job. And I did $2 million in sales for them in 6 months. And unfortunately, though, the museum wasn't getting the foot traffic it needed to the actual museum. The event space, great. The museum itself, not so much. And so they ended up closing their doors. And I was out of work for 7 months and pursued a number of different careers, all sales-based, because I realized owning my catering company, working for the sports museum, that I'm just a natural born salesperson. In fact, the person who hired me at the sports museum, when I left there, I said, what's the best piece of advice you can give me? And she said, well, you're super aggressive. Let people know you're on their side. So that's been really helpful in my life to know that. Anyway, so over this 7-month period, interviewed for a different sales position, and then an ex-boyfriend called, and he was recruiting for a small-time real estate firm. And I thought, I've got nothing that's sticking. I might as well just do this as like a Band-Aid until something pops up and I figure it out. And then while I was in real estate school, I thought, why am I just going to his company? I should interview with all the top companies. And so I used my connections and got my foot in the door into different companies. And I interviewed with Douglas Elliman, and it just felt like the right fit. And so happy I went there. It's been an amazing company. They've been supportive. I can't say enough good things about Douglas Elliman, about how they've helped me launch my career. And so I started there. And the very first week, I got my first listing. The very first year, I was Rookie of the Year.
Nice.
The following year, I was one of the top brokers on the Upper West Side. And then a couple of years after that, I formed the Burman Team, and we're doing strong and well, and best job I ever had. So, I've thought that about every job I've had. So I'm just like, should I roll the dice again and see what's next? But right now I'm in real estate and loving it. And it's my dream job.
Well, that's awesome. You chose a great company. I'm very tight with a lot of people in your office, Upper West Side office, Douglas Elliman. You've got a great manager there, John Lawrence. And it's a good group. You're around a lot of great, successful agents, and obviously you're obviously doing well.
Well, not to throw you a plug, but I have to
I'll take it.
No, I mean, I started doing videos with you, and the first one, when I look at it, I'm just like, what was I doing? And but you've coached me, and you make me feel so incredibly comfortable, and you really take my listings to the next level and let people see it. And people walk into my listings and they're quoting me in my videos, and they're telling me that they've never seen videos done better, that I should teach other people how to do videos. And it's not that I am so amazing at doing videos. I think you just know what to ask, what to cut, what to keep in. And I mean, so I'm a producer. I think that's what when I had my catering company, that's what I did. I figured out how to produce something. In real estate, I figure out how to find the best video person, how to find the best stager, how to find the best photographer. And you bring all of those components together, and that's what sells my properties. It's producing the best product for my sellers.
That's amazing feedback. I appreciate the plug, and I appreciate you recognizing my strengths and where I have been able to help you. But you also obviously, thank you. I appreciate it. But you also must realize that you've put in all the work to create your brand and help me help you with your videos and your presentation all around. So.
We're a great team, Rob.
I was going to say we make a great team. I agree.
Yeah, I should have your picture on the Burman team. Just
like holding the camera
on the side.
Hey, one of the buildings that I find myself shooting properties very often with you is 201 West 70th Street. I don't know if there's an official, if you're the official building specialist or what the deal is, but I mean. It's been a dozen separate listings.
Over 30.
I mean, I've shot at least a dozen. I know you've sold and closed over 30 apartments in that building.
Yes.
That's amazing. Can you share with us a recent success story from 201 West 70th Street?
You know what? I mean, recently I listed 26F. And interestingly, I met this buyer at the Harmony with the seller. Initially, she was my buyer. I met her at the Harmony. She was looking at an apartment there. Wasn't right for her. A year later, I saw this apartment. It was an estate sponsor unit apartment. And I called her up and I said, I think this is exactly what you want. And she's like, oh my God. She said, I can't believe you remember me. from a year ago. And you're right, this is exactly what I want. And she gut renovated it and, owned it for a number of years. She was single when I met her. She's gotten married, had a baby, and obviously needed more space.
Right.
So we staged the apartment. And within the first week, we got multiple offers with a slam dunk buyer. And that's where we are today. We're waiting for it to close. But really, the success story of 201 started probably 10 years ago.
Right.
I had a buyer who wanted to be in the building, and we got an accepted offer. And at the last minute, the seller changed their mind that they didn't want to sell it. And my buyer loved the building, and I will do anything for a buyer if they really want something. So every week I went to the building and spoke to the doorman. Do you have a listing? Do you have a listing? Do you have a listing? Mm-hmm. And I think I must have gone to that building for a year. And I knew everything about the building. I knew every listing. I knew every component about it. And I got a call from these sellers. And they said, the doorman said, we should speak to you, that you may have a buyer, that you come by every week. And so I met with these sellers, and they said they had met with 7 other brokers, but nobody knew the building better than I did. And they gave me my first listing in the building, and I put it on the market. And in 3 days, I sold their apartment at a record-breaking price. And that is what spiraled my success at 201.
So persistence. You were persistent. You weren't lazy. You went after it, and it worked.
I mean, I look at obstacles as opportunities, because there's nothing I can't do. So somebody says they want something, within reasonable, you can't have a $10 million apartment for $1 million, that's not going to happen. But,
right.
Within reason, I will figure out a way to find what a buyer wants, what a seller wants, like I said, this is going back to the cooking, how to bring something to the highest plateau. How do you do that? And that's my nature. I'm a problem solver. And I'm also a completionist. So, I will just keep going forward. Actually, one seller described me as, I'm like a dog on a meat truck. So.
Dog on a meat truck. I like that one.
Dog on a meat truck. Yeah.
I've been often compared to being a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs.
Like that.
So,
and yet we get along. Cats and dogs are not supposed to get along.
Listen, so. You never know sometimes. What is the best piece of advice you've ever received?
That would be from my older brother. When I first graduated college, and I was living at home, and he said, you need to get out of the house. And I said, I can't afford to. I said, anything that I would look to move into would take 2 weeks' salary. And he said, Karen, unless you put yourself on the edge, you're never going to get anywhere in life. And I'm getting just like sad and sort of choked up, because
right.
That's it. Like, you know what? Like, fear is fear. It doesn't mean anything. It's like, you know what? It's just telling you you're alive and that you need to go for it. I mean, not if it's an anxiety and you can't sleep, but usually that fear is just, it's a pattern you need to change. It's something you need to go after. And so my brother is a wildly successful man. When he first started his company, he was written up in Inc. as top 50 small companies.
Wow,
and I mean,
nice.
You know what? He's 2 years older than me, and he's retired. So if that gives you like an idea, I mean,
nice.
Yeah, amazing man. And if ever I have a problem, he's a great person to bounce off to get an idea. So, I mean, the one thing is, I mean, I do sell real estate, And so
Do
I
you?
know, I know we're in uncertain times. And I think that to calm people's nerves, nothing makes people feel better than having some sort of certainty. So what I'm offering to you, and it's just what makes me feel good, is if you have questions, if you're, if you're thinking like, living inside my home has made me think like, could I buy something bigger? Should I be selling? Is it the right time to sell? Where's the market? I am available for any of your questions, just purely to help you get to certainty, to feel good about this time of uncertainty. But knowledge is power. And so any way I can empower someone and answer their questions, because there's no pat answer for anyone. Everybody is going to have a different question, and just know that I am here to answer any questions to help people feel more certain in this uncertain time.
That's wonderful. And how should people reach out to you?
They can email me at my first initial, K Burman, or maybe you could just put my information across the screen.
Yeah.
kburman@elliman.com. They can email me, they can call me. They can Facebook friend me, but they may get lost because now I have so many friends. So
how do they find? What about Instagram? You're big on Instagram. How do they find you on Instagram?
I would say I'm bigger on Facebook than Instagram. But I do both. I just find Facebook is a little bit easier to post for me, but I think it's a generational thing. I think probably more people are on Instagram. I just
depends on your audience,
Yeah, I think it depends on the audience. I mean, and like I said, right now you can only focus on so much. So right now I've just been connecting with my Facebook friends, and I'm a huge cyclist, and so there's this huge cycling community, and so I've been connecting with a lot of people in the cycling community, and that's been really fun. I mean, people have great cartoons on there and great stories, and so it's uplifting just to look at everything on there in a connected world.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing you in person as soon as we're able to go back out there and get back to normal, which we don't know what or when that is.
I definitely have some listings for you when we're back to normal.
Well, I'm ready. We're ready. I'm ready.
Yeah.
So, and then we'll absolutely have to do more of these, some post-pandemic podcast episodes, and just keep the ball rolling. And I'm really glad that you give us the opportunity to work with you and get to know you over the years. And I look forward to talking to you again soon.
That would be great. Thanks, Rob. It was great spending the afternoon with you.
Likewise. We'll be in touch.